Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the W. Mason Coach Report with head men's basketball coach Joe Mihalich. Welcome back, Coach. How you doing?
Another week. Anxious to talk a little bit about last week and anxious to talk about this week coming up. So, good to be with everybody.
Yeah, you finished up the first half of the conference slate. Your team is 6-3 in the league, one game out of first. Before we get into last week and the specifics of last week, 6-3. What do you make of the first 9 conference games for your team?
I think it's kind of what we thought it was going to be, at least what I thought it was going to be like before the season started. Every single game is a coin toss. Every single game's a war. Anybody can beat anybody. Anybody can lose to anybody. You got to really, as much as it sounds like coach speak, you better stay focused and be ready for 40 minutes at a time.
Yeah, I think people don't give your program and your team this year enough respect for what you've done with the 6-3 record. You lost a player that averaged 30 points a game. You lost a post player that had an incredible conference slate last year, and you've come in your 6-3 heading into the second half. I imagine you're really happy with the development of people like DeJour Bowie in his senior year.
Yeah, DeJour has just been incredible. I mean, he almost. I mean, nobody can make us forget about Justin, but he comes close, and the other guys are getting better with each passing game. The guys coming off the bench are starting to help us a little bit more, and Isaac's developing into somebody that we can really count on. But all that being said, I mean, it's you mentioned the record 6-3. I'll bet there's 10 coaches in the league that if you said, look, you're going to be 6-3 halfway through, they would have been okay. All right, we're okay with that. But we also know all 10 coaches that that could be 0-9 the second half if you don't do what we talked about already. If you're not ready to go.
Yep. And let's get into last week. You went 1-1, 2-point loss to Delaware, and then you recovered with a dominating second half to beat Drexel. Let's start with the Delaware game. Your program got in a real habit of 2-point games, 4 straight, including 2 on national TV. You're keeping the national TV audience involved, aren't you?
Nobody's leaving early.
What do you make of the Delaware game? I know you were not thrilled with your team's execution. What did you make of it as the coach?
Well, a lot of emotion when you have a game like that. A lot of emotion right when it's over, and it's normal. It's a natural tendency to just focus on the last 2 plays or the last 3 plays. How Jalen makes the 2 foul shots and they go length of the court and hit the layup. But really. After watching the tape, and we watched the tape with the team the next day, we watched every bounce, we watched every pass, we watched every dribble. It would not have been if we'd have won that game. It might in the long term it would have hurt us because we were when you win you kind of just turn the page and you don't study how the game went. And we did so many things poorly that game, and credit to Delaware for winning the game, but we did so many things poorly in that game, from our transition defense to our you name it. That if we'd have won the game, it might have masked our mistakes and our deficiencies instead of us realizing we have them and we need to work on those things. And that loss, as much as it stung, hopefully it helps us in the long run.
And the pluses and minuses of conference play, when you lose a game that you're not really happy with your effort or execution, you get on a Thursday game, you get a very quick turnaround to right the wrong, and you got the chance to right that wrong on Saturday, and your team came out of the locker room after a close first half and just dominated Drexel. What'd you make of that second half where your team clamped down on defense, executed incredibly well on offense, kind of everything went right that last 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned, I think we had 11 stops in a row, which is it's impossible. You don't even try to do that. There's a lot of people that just their goal is, let's see if we can get 3 stops in a row, which is hard to do. So yeah, we did a good job. Our guys, our guys just had a good feel for where they had to be and what time they had to be there, and then they executed each little aspect of it. And our guys came out hungry, and they came out with something to prove, and not proud of what they did Thursday night, and that's what good teams do.
And speaking of having a great night, Tariq Coburn, career-high 24 points, double-double with 12 rebounds. He really broke out of maybe a mini slump that he's kind of been in and out of. What'd you make of his game? He hit some real big shots in that contest.
Yeah, I mean, he's capable of doing that, and it's probably something that that's exceptional. But I'm even more happy with the shots are unbelievable. But the 12 rebounds was 7 offensive rebounds was pretty darn good. So, it's we need somebody more than just Isaac to be getting offensive rebounds. I think Isaac's one of the leaders in the conference, but it's something that some of the other guys got to do, and Tariq answered the bell there.
So now this week starts the second half of the CA slate. There's some real storylines in this conference. Obviously, the Hofstras, William & Marys, Charleston's the world are near the top, but you have a Towson team that started off 0-3 and has won 6 straight. You have a UNC Wilmington team that started off 0-7 and has won 2 of 3, and the one loss is to Hofstra. What do you make of the league right now? I know you kind of touched on it before, but especially like teams like that who have kind of righted the ship in a way for their own sake.
I mean, you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but I don't even look at the standings. I can't. It gives me agita, because it's so. I just knew it would be close, and I really literally couldn't sit here and say, hey, these guys have 3, these have 4. I do know William & Mary only has 2, but because it doesn't matter. I mean, our battle cry is. 1 month from tomorrow is February 29th. It'll be our last game. When the game's over, tell us who we're supposed to play. Because in our league, it's a one-bid league, and you got to win 3 games in March, and that's when it really matters. But it's just incredible. I mean, it's who's going to finish 1, 2, 3, 4, who's going to finish 7, 8, 9, 10. It's so close. It's so close, and it's going to be so close right to the bitter end. I'm predicting a lot of ties. I'm predicting that the league office is going to have to look up the tiebreaker policies and put them into play.
Big week for your team. You go back down the road down south this weekend. First of the second matchups with these teams. Elon, who you beat here at Max Sports Complex earlier this year, and then William & Mary, who handled you guys a little earlier this year as well. What do you make? It's kind of it's a weird road trip. The team you beat and then a team you lost to. First up is Elon.
Yeah, and Mike's doing a great job there. He's got some young guys he's developing. I think he's building for the future. They've. All I know is that they had a 1-point loss to William & Mary. A relatively deep sub hit a game-winning 3 at Delaware, or else they would have won that game too. They just beat JMU. They play hard in every play. They shoot the basketball. We just know it's going to be a battle. We just know it's going to be a battle. And last year, you remember, we were lucky to win. They had a shot at the buzzer to win the game down there. So, it's a tough place to play. It's if our guys aren't ready to go, it's going to be a sad ending.
And then Saturday you play William & Mary, and we all know you don't like to talk about the game after the first game up, but William & Mary, a team you certainly are familiar with over your time.
Well, I mean, it's no surprise to me that they are where they are. I mean, I literally chuckled when I saw that they weren't picked higher in the preseason stuff, and they have an NBA player in their team. I mean, they have an NBA player in their team, and they have 2 or 3 grad transfers. We knew the kid from Wisconsin. Remember the way people were talking, he was good. That's a good team. I mean, it's a good team. It's no surprise to me that with the players that they have, that they're winning the games that they're winning. So, we'll jump off that bridge when we come to it.
Well, Coach, we wish you good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us in the W. Mason Coach Report with head men's basketball coach Joe Mihalich.